John Cena and Jackie Chan team up to take down some evil mercenaries who want to steal some oil in Hidden Strike. Directed by Scott Wagg, who ended up doing Need for Speed and Act of Valor. And also written by Arash Hamel, who did Erased and Rise and a few other movies. Check out the respective IMDb pages for the full listings of their work. But yes, John Cena, ba 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 ba, ba 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 ba, ba 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 ba, and his glorious Hollywood hair that really just looks very off-putting, considering that he's approaching 50, and the hair just looks so weird. It looks so weird. I mean, I understand he does it for roles, but it just looks so weird. I can never get used to it. And Jackie Chan is one of the best action stars, martial arts stars, whatever you want to call him. Honestly, in, the last 30, 40 years. I mean, he's just really goddamn gifted and does all his own stunts and has broken his body down to do shit like this. And, well, there was also the guy that was the villain Overlord and Samaritan, who I just call Pillow Abstract because I can never say his name right. The guy that's a serviceable actor and really is never given any meaty roles to sink his teeth into. Rachel Holloway. Good God, she's beautiful. And a few other people in this action movie that really seems like it was plucked from the late 80s, early 90s, and is about, oil in Baghdad, the highway of death, and having to get a particular high-ranking official from China out of this oil refinery, but then things go tits up because somebody is bound and determined to steal a whole bunch of oil and do vicious, vile things like sell it to the highest bidder. Yeah, that plot pretty much is full of spoilers, but there really isn't much more of a plot to speak of. Hidden Strike was filmed 5 years ago. No, really. You read up on it, it was filmed about 5 years ago and just got shoved out on streaming recently. It's on Netflix currently, and now I know why. This movie was fucking awful. This is one of the worst goddamn atrocities committed to film in the last number of years. Now, that's not for a lack of effort and fun that the actors seem to be having, but everything is just painfully safe and sanded off, so no edges, no you think you know me, none of the grit, the determination, none of this stuff. Everything's just generic. Jackie Chan has a daughter played by Chun Rui Ma, who, good God. You see more stuff that she's in, and a few other people as well. There isn't really much to this movie beyond Jackie Chan needing to kind of, come together with his daughter, basically help her understand. He keeps doing these covert missions. He doesn't hate her, and he feels bad that he wasn't able to be there when the mother passed away. And then also John Cena is trying to make things work in a village that he's living in, where he just wants to get water for the civilians. He's grown attached to the various villagers. They've taken him in, and he just wants to do good stuff. So his brother Henry, not John Henry, the steel driving man, as hilarious as that would have been for a time jump, and the time jumps would have made about as much sense as the physics in this movie, he comes up with this idea, hey, here's a bunch of money. Come help me do this stuff, like kidnap this high-ranking official that did all these bad things, because I'm telling you they did. And we drop them here with Pillow Abstract, who plays Owen Paddock, and basically we will get all of our money. Well, then naturally things go tits up, and then Jackie Chan and John Cena must team up together to take down these vicious mercenaries. As plain, as generic, as basic as you can get. And honestly, had this movie been able to come out in the 90s, despite the fact John Cena wouldn't have been in it, this might have been better. And I don't mind movies that try to have a bunch of stupid fun, but this thing doesn't even know how to have fun. The story is so generic. The action is super, super basic. The stunts really aren't all that great. The CGI is some of the worst that I have seen in many, many years. And yeah, I recognize it came out 5 years ago, but that's 5 years ago, not 50 years ago, not 15 years ago, not 35 years ago. The CGI is terrible. There are points where I'm like, wow, this is really bad. I don't know how much money they put into this, but they should have allocated it elsewhere. They should have just said, hey, let's put John Cena and Jackie Chan in something better. Let's take all the actors and make a better movie. They didn't want to do that. Hidden Strike, more like Hidden Screenplay. Didn't really know what the hell it wanted to be. And any of the attempts at comedy don't work. They feel forced. They feel like they're plucked from better movies. The action that tries to be all ooh, ooh, ah, all these chase scenes that happen, which I think there's maybe all of 3, really aren't very inspired. And so he's just uninspired and uninteresting and drags on and on and on and does not play to the strengths of Jackie Chan or John Cena. And Jesus, it's not good. It's not good at all. It's on Netflix if you want to check it out. I'm going to get into spoilers. Not the spoilers will take very long because, boy, this movie just really, really goddamn bad. I mean, the chemistry between Jackie Chan and John Cena is about as good as oil and water. And I'm not saying that they didn't try to have fun, and maybe they did, but a movie just tonally inconsistent, going from serious to try to go to comedy to do all this stuff, none of it hits. Just hits, except hitting the ground with a resounding thud, like we're at the Kemper Arena for Over the Edge 99. So yeah, let's just get into spoilers right here. Why the hell not? It's on Netflix. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. So yeah, here's what happens. Jackie Chan is leading a bus convoy to take the professor and a whole bunch of children and children at the refinery. Why were there children at the refinery? I don't even want to know the answer to that. Chinese rules right there, perhaps, or maybe it's just government rules for the oil refinery, or possibly the kids can work harder than the adults. Not that I know or care. 498 people to evacuate. Is this thing have 15 layers down there? Cena was having a blast initially, nicknaming various people in Henry's group. Nicknamed one Raider, who was Rachel Holloway, who, good lord, she should have been in the movie more, because she looked great. Hey, here's some money, Henry says. We need to take this person, pluck him, do this. And, well, Mei, played by Chun-Ri Ma, is Lao's daughter. Dragon Lao, Lu Fang wins. That's actually what they called him, or Lao Fang. I actually don't know how it's said. I don't really care. It doesn't really fucking matter. So, going down the highway of death. Well, that sounds delightful. It's in the war zone. There's all these cars and all this stuff. And they have these bus convoys. And suddenly there's a sandstorm. Deep hurting. And a couple buses get kidnapped. Also, it turns out that one person in the group at the refinery was in on the whole goddamn thing and tagged it with paint so they could kidnap the high-ranking woman official and get her flash drive and come up with a way to unlock the refinery. Cena basically wants to help the village by getting some water, and then Pillow Abstract shows up, and then Jackie Chan and everybody somehow manage to get helicopters. They're just happen to be around there, and they figure out the sandstorm was man-made by a giant jet engine. More on that later. Suspicious. Suspicious activities. Are there any other kinds? Suspicious mercenaries. All the suspicious behavior and all this stuff. And very stilted and basic action sequences. This is pretty awful, is what I noted several times. Of course, Pillow Abstract is the villain. I don't think that guy's ever going to be able to play a good guy because they just pigeonhole him as a villain. And I'm sure he's a nice guy, and he's a fairly decent actor, but he wasn't given much to work with here. So, he wants to steal the oil. Why? Because movie. And then Cena and Chan play, which sounds just like a buddy cop drama. They play, funny comedy with grenades and shooting. Some French mercenaries show up for no goddamn reason. And then they're gone. And then other people are gone. They just have random people just show up out of nowhere. It's like 5 different movies were converging on each other, and they just had, let's just all put them in here. So this fighting sucks. I mean, yes, Jackie Chan probably did enough of his own stunts, but everybody ages, and the cutaways of stunt people pretty goddamn awful. And then Cena later sings "Old MacDonald Had a Barn," E-I-E-I-O, and refers to himself and says that they had a big dog. Hoorah! Yeah, there are a lot of wrestling references here. I'm going to leave some of them up to you to figure out. Cena hits on May. Don't blame him. Good God, I don't blame him. And Cena lost his dad on the highway of death. Maybe that's why you don't go on something called the highway of fucking death. And then villains show up. And then other things are going on. Jackie Chan is trying to bond with his daughter because she's a really smart scientist, but also that's his daughter. That's what he's trying to do. The comedy just doesn't work. It really doesn't work at all. Special effects, the sets, the stunt all look like shit. It just all looks like shit. They get the USB drive to open up the oil refinery, and then they decide to take it off, and they're going to pump it into some tanker trucks and then take it onto the ship. Well, that doesn't end up working all that well because there are explosions at a refinery. It's fine. It's fine. Cena busts out some wrestling maneuvers, including a gourd buster and a toss, and I'm amazed he didn't break out the AA to hit on somebody. And then there's this one guy with tattoos on his face who was part of the mercenary crew that I swore died earlier in the movie, but everybody looks alike. They do some more comedy, then he gets destroyed by Jackie Chan in some foam. I think it's foam to put out fires at the refinery instead of water. It's a stucco hose. And boy, it's covered in foam. Looked like cum, but nevertheless. May decides to drive one of the trucks and somehow manages to get to this refinery just conveniently to get Cena there. And hold on, lady driver coming through. And then Jackie Chan somehow, has a vehicle with the jet engine on there that was used to create the sandstorm, and they race through the desert to get to the oil refinery trucks. They bust them up, but not before John Cena and May are trying to get Jackie Chan to slow down. He says, "Can't you see me?" Ha ha ha. And then they manage to get Pillow Abstract pinned to their truck, and they're going to drive him off, and May's tied to a cable, and Jackie Chan, her, over on the goddamn side. And then Pillow Abstract decides to sacrifice himself by throwing himself off the goddamn cliff and taking him with him. But then he detaches May, and he falls to his death. And oh no, John Cena's dead. No, John Cena's very much alive. And now they're stuck on a cliff yelling for help. Hidden Strike, everybody. One of the worst movies of 2023. Despite the fact that it was filmed 5 years ago, it's still going to qualify for this list. I didn't expect much, and I got less. And again, I don't expect much from action movies. I just expect to be entertained. This was not entertaining. This was phoned in, ridiculous, and phony, quite frankly. So, nevertheless, F. Agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Replin. I'll see you soon.